This research is about food prices. It's a comparative study between Uganda and Nigeria. In Uganda, the focus is on northern Uganda, and specifically Acholi and Lango sub-region, which have a history of conflict. We see from this study that food insecurity impacts on a number of aspects within a household. It impacts on the health of the household. It impacts on education outcomes. It impacts on peace within a household.
Our project is looking at the impact of global price increases on the farming population of those in the pastoral communities in the Sahel region of Nigeria. And basically we are working in Adamawa, Bauchi, and Gombe states in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And why we are focusing on this area is because of the poly crisis that this region has witnessed over the last 2 decades. So our projects focused on examining the impact of food price increases on this population. We're also looking at how they are coping with these price increases, and also what we can learn that will be helpful in influencing policy at the local, state, and even national level that can change the narrative so that the people will have a better life. There are so many interesting things that are coming out from the research. And one of them is the fact that the community themselves are having strong resilience despite the hardship that they are facing, which is posed by the price increases of food and commodity in this region. Another thing that we have found is the fact that the women in this community especially are taking on some innovative strategies to be able to cope with the price increases. We have seen that the women, they try to remain in the community to see how they can care for their children. However, we also find some shameful practices by the community themselves in order to cope with the price increases. And some of these include having to engage in commercial sex work, children engage in child labor, stealing, and other vices just to cope with the price increases. So we are trying to see how we can change this narrative by using the evidence generated from this research to talk to the government and other stakeholders.
Women and Rural Development Network is a grassroots organization that is working in northern Uganda to address concerns of women and girls, both in the humanitarian situation and in the development areas of northern Uganda. From this study, there were so many findings, but what was very unique was the issue of dropout of children from school, and mainly girls dropping out of school. Uganda has a policy on free education for lower education, and yet we find that this number is quite big in terms of dropouts. It's a concern that we need to address. The other finding was the issue of domestic violence, because from this study we found that as a result of the high food prices, it is resulting in conflicts, and there are so many cases of domestic violence being reported because food is not enough.
The key findings from our research that we think policymakers should know is that, number one, the hardship is real, and the effect of interventions in these communities have not yielded the kind of results that is expected. Because there is no synergy between the government and development partners and practitioners, there's usually misalignment, and then these interventions gets to the wrong targets.
We have an experience which the government and other stakeholders can actually leverage on And that is the bottom-up approach of reaching the community. In one of our projects in the Northeast region, we are doing this through an established group at the community level. We have a network of women that was established by the Center for Population and Environmental Development in one of our projects. And so when we have any assistance to the community or any intervention to the community, we go through this network of like-minded individuals who are committed. And so we also recommend that to the government or any other stakeholders like the development partner who want to support community. When they go through this kind of local network, you'll be rest assured that whatever efforts that they are making to cushion the effect of price increases on food and commodities at the local level, it will surely go down to the beneficiary or the targeted group.
It is very important that there is investment towards school feeding program to ensure that children retain in school, but also when we invest in this area, we'll see other outcomes because it will reduce incidences of malnutrition and better health for communities, but especially children.
So a policymaker would be interested in knowing where to allocate resources to solve this challenge and the impacts the food prices have caused on households. And in this case, if they approached it from the point of food security and resource allocation or prioritization is put on food, then should be able to address all other aspects that affect or the crisis has brought to a household. We see a possibility on the side of humanitarian agents rethinking how they intervene within the community, because we saw at the beginning as if it was they were coming to solve a global challenge, but the consequence of this research shows us that the issues are local within the community, and so their programming and thinking about the challenges within northern Uganda should be able to change.
I think research should lead to action. That's the whole purpose of research. There's need to look at the root causes of some of these issues that the research has brought out.
Most of the community members are farmers. They are agro-pastoralists. And so we are engaging Ministry of Agriculture who have the resources to be able to support this group. What we'll be telling them is to see how they can reach the farmers directly through their local structure, instead of going through intermediary to give them seedling or other farm inputs like fertilizer. So if they do this, we believe that that will help to actually reduce the hardship that we currently be experienced at the community level.
This research is the first step into research into action. For the case of Uganda, this message would go to the Office of the Prime Minister. Why? Because the challenge of food prices and its impact is multi-sector. So the Prime Minister should be able to guide, first of all, on where to intervene, which sector should resources be prioritized as an intervention. That would save money for government to put resources or split resources everywhere. So you tackle it from a point of biggest vulnerability, for example, in this case, food security, and then that intervention around food security is going to solve health challenges, is going to impact on educational outcomes, is going to impact on social issues, for example, violence in homes, by only intervening in one area. That will be the message for the minister.